Visual arts here at the Governor's School is kind of all about understanding how to function as a 21st century artist and what that might look like. So we do a lot of different things to sort of unlearn maybe the rules of art that you're already learning in high school. The first week, we dissect what drawing means and what that might look like to a bunch of different artists because not everyone considers drawing to be the same thing.
I'm working on a painting right now about my hometown, Cary. It's about it's being modernized, and we're losing like the southern rural feel. I had sort of like a creative block before Governor's Cloud Sage, but I think our teacher Alyssa provided a lot of ways for us to get inspiration.
So even if in your brain you're thinking, oh, well, that's like a pencil sketch, other artists, especially contemporary artists, may not consider drawing as simple as that. It might be a little bit more broad and complex. We do a lot of exercises in drawing that we like to openly consider a drawing, even though you might not think so. So things like movement, sound exercises. We ask you to sort of think about that and write your own definition of what drawing is.
We're working on these final projects for like our final gallery thing. So I wanted to do sort of a collage of multiple different paintings of people that I got to know here at Governor's School. So this is a picture of my roommate Augustine that I took in our room that I've painted to sort of be like this. And then I'm going to end up doing a lino cut of different things that she likes that we connected over.
We're doing a lot more medium specific projects. So we look at weaving and printmaking, which are both very traditional, but we sort of frame them and how you can use them, obviously, in a 21st century sort of mindset. So a more contemporary way to use those. We also look at video and photography and understand how we can do those very quickly and beautifully on phone devices, whatever you have with you. Weeks 3 and 4, we delve into something called social practice, where we're looking at socially engaging art where a lot of audience participation happens. And then we ask students to group up in certain ways and make sort of a participatory artwork that they participate with the whole campus. And then we're also doing a lot of like collaborating with other areas. So we do some collaboration with social science, we do some with instrumental music, and potentially more this session. I'm not sure. Yes.
Governor's School has helped me a lot to like flourish creatively. I think being in a space that's fully dedicated to learning about art and creativity, but has less emphasis on things like grades and judgment is something that's really healthy for artists to have. And so I found that that has been very helpful to help me find my own style and just explore different things without the fear of failing or being judged. I'm really only just starting because I only today got the materials that I needed. But it's really just going to be a collage, and it doesn't have quite as much of a deeper meaning more than it does like a theme sort of. Here's some of the photos I printed out. It's just photos that I've taken, and I think they all fit a sort of like quiet sort of nature theme that I really enjoy. Also, I'm trying to just kind of capture that, but I'm also using a lot of like old receipts and like old, sorry, it's like really messy, old book pages and like things from nature. So it's gonna be like kind of like maximalist, but trying to stick with that theme. I have done collages in the past, but they've never been like my main medium. So this is like a tiny bit out of my comfort zone, but I feel like that's kind of what it's all about. So I'm here for it.
So by the end of the session, my hope is that you have lots of little works that you've made sort of in a time crunch and material limits and sort of creating these structures that you sort of have to make work within that end up being really beautiful and kind of encapsulates your time at Governor's School. We'll showcase those on campus. And then when we do our participatory projects, those are usually just participating on campus with students here. In those pieces, even if you're not comfortable performing per se, you are still there to help and contribute in some way. So maybe you're making something, maybe you're having conversations with people. It doesn't have to be on a stage.
I've never been in a situation where there's so many creative people all together just focused on growing as artists. We've worked with mixed media pieces, which I've never done before, but we worked specifically with found objects, and we were supposed to make a piece that was vulnerable to ourselves, inspired by another artist that made these kind of sound suits. I worked specifically with a lot of broken glass pieces, like puzzle pieces, broken Christmas ornaments. I managed to attach this all to a canvas on top of a rocking horse bottom, and then a cup on top, and it was this multifaceted piece about childhood, and it was really cool actually to be able to do that. They're supposed to be monarch wings. They're not done yet, but they're very big, and I'm going to attach them to a larger charcoal piece of a rib cage and a skeleton. And they're supposed to be kind of about change and about growth.
So one of the big goals that I want students to take away from this experience is to understand how to make work about something and sort of focus on the content of what their artwork is about versus what it looks like. If you have made it this far to Governor School, I know that you can make really beautiful arts, but I care to know what your work is about, how it connects to you as a person, how it connects to the time period you're living in, how does it connect to your experiences at Governor School or outside of Governor School? And when you go onto a professional setting, a lot of times now in the 21st century, a lot of people are looking for that in artwork and understanding how you can write and contextualize your artwork, whether it's in contemporary history or even in the past history, like history. So just understanding, yes, I know your work looks really great, but I actually care more about what your work's about versus what it looks like.
I've really been able to broaden my ideas when it comes to art. Usually I think very surface level. Being here has taught me how to dig deeper, even just like the techniques I use. And also it gives me a lot of hope for the future stuff I make. I'm really excited to use these ideas and concepts that I've learned here. Right now I'm painting this little boy standing on a rock fishing. And conceptually it's more about how when you're older, reminiscing on like memories from childhood or like sort of remember them more grand than they truly were. So I think for this person, in actuality, they were probably like fishing on the side of a bank, but being a child and thinking back on that childlike imagination as an adult, he pictures himself in this like vast ocean on a rock. It feels like he's like the conqueror of the sea. As a child, you know, you can really be whatever.
Even if you don't go to college for visual art, I think that understanding that art can technically be anything and that that's okay and that's valid is a beautiful way to then look at the art. I mean, look at the world through. So, sort of giving you this lens in which you can view the world. So, I sort of have this philosophy that, like, if you understand that anything can be art, then you can live a more intentional and meaningful life. So, you know, your walks every morning to get coffee, you might start to view those as pieces of art. And then how would that change how you walk or how you interact with people? Maybe you act more kindly. And I think even if you go on to not do art in college, that you can then start to understand how your impact in the world can be documented and left as an art piece. You yourself, you are the artwork. And then also connecting those things to like area 2 and 3. So developing more empathy and understanding of the world around you can obviously be impactful no matter where you go in life.
The main change I've experienced is that art does not have to be this grand masterpiece that we make. It can be a tiny stamp that you carve or a tiny paintbrush that you make out of nature, and I think that's really beautiful. I've kind of done a series of hands and the emotion that can be portrayed in hands and the relationship between people. Here I have a pinky swear between two people, and I want to explore more what can be behind a pinky swear. It can be a promise. It can be two people loving each other, two people doing this out of necessity. It can mean betrayal, it can mean love. There's so much more that can be expressed through hands, and I'm really excited to finish this piece. I've done pointillism or stippling before, but I haven't done one in a while. My medium of choice is acrylic paint, but I wanted to step out of the box a little bit and re-explore this medium. It is very meticulous. It can get very repetitive, but I like the detail aspect in it and how these small little dots combine to make this bigger picture.
If you are an art student in the high school, I definitely encourage you to apply simply for the experiences. Really, you get to take away this beautiful artistic lens that you get to carry with you everywhere.